Have you ever looked at your bank account at the end of the month and just wondered, where did it all go? Well, if you have, you are definitely not alone. It turns out there's a real reason saving money feels like such an uphill battle for so many of us. And today, we're going to unpack that exact paradox. So let's get right to it. Why is saving money so hard? I mean, the formula sounds simple enough, right? Just spend less than you earn. But as we're about to see, there are some pretty powerful forces at play that make that a whole lot easier said than done. Okay, so first we've got to zoom out and look at the big picture. I'm talking about the great economic squeeze. These are the large-scale pressures that are frankly completely out of our individual control, but they're working against our wallets from the very beginning. And this chart really gets to the heart of the problem. You see that tall bar? That's the cost of essentials, things like food, healthcare, stuff you can't live without. It has absolutely soared. And that shorter bar? That's wage growth. So yeah, paychecks have gone up, but they just don't stretch nearly as far as they used to, not even close. Now, what's the single biggest piece of that squeeze? You guessed it, housing. And this number is just staggering. Nearly a third of all American households are considered cost-burdened. That means over 30% of their income goes just to keeping a roof over their heads. When that much of your paycheck is gone right off the top, saving can feel less like a goal and more like a fantasy. So what you end up with is this perfect storm. You've got rising inflation, making everything more expensive, wages that just can't keep up, and absolutely crushing housing costs. This is the financial reality for millions of people before they even make a single decision about where to spend their money. But the economy is only half the story. To really get it, we also need to look inward at our own habits and the hurdles we face, the common behaviors that can actually make all those external pressures even worse. And a huge piece of this puzzle is, of course, debt. For so many of us, a big chunk of our income is already spoken for before it even hits our bank account. We're talking student loans, credit card balances, car payments. All of this eats up money that could, in theory, be funneled into savings. It creates this cycle that is just incredibly tough to break. This brings us to a really critical difference in mindset. Are you a proactive saver, someone who treats saving like it's a non-negotiable bill you have to pay to your future self? Or are you a reactive saver, just kind of crossing your fingers and hoping there's something left over at the end of the month? Because let's be honest, that reactive approach almost always leaves you with nothing. And look, we are all swimming against a powerful cultural current here. Our society is literally built on consumerism. Every ad you see, every buy now, pay later offer that pops up, it's all designed to get us to spend. In an environment like that, the simple act of saving actually becomes a rebellious choice. You have to actively push back against this constant drumbeat of instant gratification. Now, all of this combined leaves millions of people walking a financial tightrope with absolutely no safety net. Without an emergency fund, one single unexpected thing, a car repair, a surprise medical bill, can be catastrophic. It's how a small, manageable setback can quickly spiral into a major debt crisis, pushing that goal of saving even further out of reach. So, we've talked about the economy and we've talked about our habits. But to get the full picture, we need to peel back one final layer. We've got to explore the psychology of spending, the mind games that are quietly influencing our financial decisions every single day. Okay, first up is a sneaky one that you've probably felt before, even if you didn't have a name for it. Lifestyle creep. It's that subtle thing that happens when you start to earn more, so you also start to spend more. That small apartment becomes a bigger one. The old car gets an upgrade. It happens so gradually, you barely even notice it's completely torpedoing your ability to save. And the cycle is dangerously simple. Your income goes up, great, but then your spending immediately jumps to match that new level. And the result, your savings rate stays exactly the same, or believe it or not, it can even go down. You end up making more money but being no better off financially. It's so frustrating. And compounding this are two other hidden influences. First, there's a simple lack of financial literacy. I mean, if you're never taught the fundamentals of how money works, it's pretty hard to manage it well. And second, there's that powerful social pressure to keep up with the Joneses, which can trick us into spending money we don't have on things we don't really need, just to look a certain way. So, when you take the economy, our habits, and our psychology, and you put them all together, what do you get? Well, you don't get a simple problem with an easy solution. You get a complex, tangled web of interconnected forces, all working against our ability to save. When you lay it all out like this, you can see those three layers so clearly. You have the big economic barriers like inflation and stagnant wages. Then you have the behavioral patterns like high debt and just not having a plan. And finally, you have the psychological traps like lifestyle creep and social pressure. It's almost never just one of these things. It's the powerful combination of all three that makes saving so incredibly difficult. And that leaves us with a final, really important question to think about. When the system, our own habits, and even our own minds all seem to be working against the goal of saving, how do we even begin to redefine what financial success looks like? Maybe, just maybe, the answer isn't only about saving more, but about fundamentally changing our entire relationship with money.